Good morning, everybody. I am getting ready to make another crockpot meal, so I'm making a quick video. I know a lot of times I'm wearing my work clothes, so I work for a company called Lengthwise, which is why you would always almost see me in my work clothes, because I'm literally going to throw this in the crockpot, grab my son, and we're going to head out the door for the day. Today I'm doing zucchini lasagna. I'm doing this because my family will eat it. I know a lot of people's families don't want to try it or won't eat the zucchini lasagna. So you can use regular lasagna noodles if you want in this recipe. It's made exactly the same way, okay? So I'm trying to make it to where I don't have to completely move the camera. Over here, I've already browned, I say a pound of ground turkey, but there's probably a little bit more in here. And then I have 1 jar of store-bought spaghetti sauce. I don't mind buying store-bought spaghetti sauce, but I really look at the ingredients and make sure that it's pretty much just real ingredients and not a bunch of processed stuff. It's a little bit more, but for me and my family, I feel that it's worth it. Cheese. I accidentally, mistakenly thought a bag of Jack cheese was mozzarella cheese in my refrigerator. So I was short on cheese. So I will typically just use one of the regular size, like a bag like this of mozzarella. I'll use one of these and then just sprinkle a little Parmesan cheese, but I didn't have a full bag. So what I did to compromise was I had probably about a half a bag of mozzarella cheese. And then I threw a handful of the Parmesan cheese, and then I threw a couple scoops of ricotta cheese. I know a lot of people like cooking with ricotta cheese when it comes to lasagna. It tastes great, but it's not as healthy for you, and honestly, it's just a mess to kind of work with, so I try not to use it, but this morning, I'm going to be using it. So you can mix your cheese however you like. If you just want to do the shredded cheese like I typically do, that's perfectly fine. If you like ricotta cheese, I've even heard people using cottage cheese and all different kinds of things. So whatever kind of cheese you typically make in your lasagna is perfectly fine. For my noodles, you can see here I have a zucchini cut up. I now have a slicer that I use. You just slide it, you cut the ends off and slide it down. But before, I just used to use a knife. You can use a knife. You want them to be as consistent as possible as far as thickness. But obviously when you're using a knife, the best you can do is the best you can do, and it always still turned out great. So you're basically just going to layer it just like you would a normal lasagna. And I'm going to throw a little bit of my sauce on the bottom. I don't know if you can see this or not. Just a little bit on the bottom. And then I'm going to throw my noodles in here. And they can overlap, that's totally fine. And then I just kind of bend it in areas that I need to make fit. And that is how it looks. And then I'm going to throw some more sauce on top of it. And then I'm going to add my cheese, and having the ricotta, it's going to be more of clumps, but as it cooks, it will melt out and even out. So you want to try and do it as evenly as possible, but it doesn't separate as well as just like plain shredded cheese does. So that's my cheese. And then I'm going to do another layer of my noodles. More noodles. And then more sauce. And then one difference if you're using noodles versus zucchini have a lot of moisture in them. So if you're cooking a regular lasagna, when you get done, like I'm gonna put mine on low and I'm gonna leave it on all day long. So about 6 to 8 hours on low. When you're doing it with real noodles, once you come home, it's done and you're good to go. If you're using zucchini noodles, because of the moisture, you're gonna have to turn it off and then you're gonna have to let it sit for about 30 minutes to kind of thicken up because it's gonna be really juicy and watery kind of when you first turn it off. But for me, this works perfect because my son has baseball tonight. So once we get home, I'll turn it off and then I'll take it out of the crock pot and just let it sit in the pan by itself while he showers and gets ready for dinner. And then usually by the time he's actually ready for dinner, it's ready to go. So this does take a little bit longer, but it's a healthier alternative and it's a good way for me to get my son to eat veggies. So it's worth the few minutes of a wait for me. But everybody's different. Perfect. Here's my next layer. And you get the gist. I have enough basically to do one more layer, so I'm gonna do one more layer and then I'm gonna throw it on the crock pot, like I said, on low and head out the door. You can use regular noodles, not a problem at all. I hope you enjoy. Let me know what you think. Bye guys.